Alright, this is a continuation of the video. The World Bank exercising the agenda of the elites. Alright, so this is a part 2. It's a continuation. Alright, so let's go back to the video here.
President Trump defunded WHO here in the United States of America. However, we still have many globalist agencies like the IMF and the World Bank that are digging their hands here in the United States of America and crashing our economies. But that's not all. In light of everything that's going on, I came across an article that shows there are 147 super entities, or basically mega corporations or central bankers, if you will, who are ruling the world and calling the shots. Take a look at this article here on zerohedge.com. The global elite have far more control over us than most people would dare to imagine. And I agree with that, especially in light of what we saw with the pandemic. And he goes on, I would submit that corporations are the primary vehicle that the elite use to control our lives. In fact, many global corporations are now larger and more powerful than most national governments. And collectively, the network of global corporations that dominate the planet is far more larger and far more powerful than any single national government. That means these global corporations collectively have more power than many of the governments around the world. That's a huge statement. Want to know why we're in the mess that we're in right now? It's because of these kinds of agency, and we allowed it. But the article goes on. A number of years ago, a remarkable study was conducted that closely examined the interconnecting relationships of major corporations all over the world. That study discovered that a network of 1,318 enormous companies dominated the global economy. And it also found that 147 colossal corporations at the core of that web formed a super entity that controlled 40% of the entire network. And here's the actual quote from the study. Each of the 1318 had ties to 2 or more other companies. On average, they were connected to about 20 companies. What's more, although they represented 20% of the global operating revenues, the 1318 appeared to collectively be owned through their shares the majority of the world's large blue chip and manufacturing firms. The real economy representing a further 60% of global revenues. When the team further untangled the web of ownership, it found much of it to be tracked back to super entity of 147 more tightly knit companies. All of their ownership was held by other members of the super entity that controlled 40% of the total wealth in the network. In effect, less than 1% of the companies were able to control 40% of the entire network, says Glatterfield. Most were financial institutions, and here's some that are in the top 20, which include Barclays Bank, JP Morgan Chase and Company, and the Goldman Sachs Group. These are many central bankers calling the shots, and it goes on. Of course,
yeah, central bankers, those are elites, Barclays Bank, JP Morgan, Chase, Goldman and Sachs Group, the ultra wealthy, wealthy, these individuals, and they own and control these corporations. Alright? And basically it's a whole network of them, right? Who own these corporations through shareholding, a complex network of shareholding, into one company which owns shares in another company which owns shares in 10 more companies. Alright, so that's how they keep their stuff secret. Alright, they keep their stuff secret. It's all about secrecy, It's all about secrecy, and keeping their plans a secret. And as I spoke about these secret societies, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderbergers, the Trilateralists, these elites, they basically are the influential world leaders, and basically in leaders in the world of business and banking and government, intellectual, right? These they basically run the whole system. They basically run the whole system, and they own most of the world financial institutions and other and media, etc. Right? As I say, less than 1% control 40%. But as the Lord said, a false balance. It's not. He doesn't like that. So let's go to the book of Let's go to the book of Proverbs. And the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, and verse 1. It's Proverbs 11 and 1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. Right? So you know, they create a false balance, right? You know, basically, but they would using this fiat currency, and they share ownership. You know, they created a false balance in the whole system, you know, and they're just getting richer while the poor just get poorer. All right. If you even look at the commandments, you know, and the laws in Leviticus 19, you know, the Lord said, don't deal falsely, right? In the book of Leviticus 19 and 11, all right? Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie to one another, you know, and they're basically hiding and dealing falsely, you know, not revealing that they're the ones who running this whole show, the ones who own all these shareholding in companies, who rule the world, you know, and basically getting all the spoils thereof. Right? You know, they try to hide their ownership, and they break their own rules, you know. They break their own rules. And let me cut back to the video.
At the very top are ultra wealthy individuals that own and control the gigantic corporations that make up the super entity. This is why our major corporations all seem to have the same values. At the very top, their ownerships are all interlinked and so trying to fundamentally change the culture of.
Yeah, they have the same values, same culture, right? Because they're members of the same secret society organizations, right? So they basically are put in those positions why what to dictate the future and the direction of those corporations, right? The ones who don't own it, you know. The same thing with the Federal Reserve, all right? It's the same thing with the administration of the U.S. government, you know, and all major corporations.
These massive institutions is nearly impossible. In other words, the reason that we have all these companies and organizations that seem to have the same value and all go off at the same time, right? Oh, we're all going to wear a mask at the same time, for example, or we're all going to fill in the blank, right? It's because they're all directed by one agency, one corporation, one mega bank, one CEO who is usually a liberal, right? Or because they're globalists, they're communist globalists.
Yeah, they're usually a member of the Bilderberger Group, Council on Foreign Relations, or the Trilateral Commission, you know, which all the members are, basically, they have cross membership. So I believe the Bilderberger Group had about 100 members. You know, the Council on Foreign Relations about, I think, 1,500 members, and the Trilateral Commission, I believe, is 250. Don't quote me on that. All right, so well, a lot of cross membership, you know, and these people sit on the boards and you know, and run on high positions, you know, in administration, and just execute the agenda of these organizations, you know.
Let me rephrase that use liberalism, right? But they're at the top telling all their agencies, their 20 agencies that own 20 agencies that own, right? And they say, you're going to follow this directive. And they do. This is why all the businesses seem to think alike, right? It's all a part of what they are doing. But corporations are owned by the global dominant elite, and they are calling the shots with this coronavirus pandemic. And it is so far time that we start waking up to this corruption. We have to think about it. These central bankers offered money to countries all across the globe, including the United States of America, but it came with restrictions. You must lock down. You must mandate. You must fill in the blank. You must do what we say. Screw your businesses over. Let them fall to socialism, because that's what happens. Big corporations will survive a pandemic. Small businesses will collapse, and they're already collapsing
which is the same thing we've been seeing, right? You know, they're just gonna get richer and richer, and everybody else gonna be poor, you know.
Thousands and tens of thousands right now in the U.S. That was the end game, and that's what they did because they want a poor mass over which the millionaires and billionaires and central bankers, and I'm talking about billions and billions of dollars here at the top, can control the United States of America, and that's exactly what they're doing. It's high time we bring attention to this. Anyhow, please don't forget to check out my partner at agewithlisa.com.
That's it there. So So basically, you know, these wicked elites, you know, they devise their plans quietly, you know, and they call them these secret societies, you know. Micah 2:1 says, reads, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds." Right? And this bed's talking about, you know, the secret societies, the tables, you know, the round tables, you know. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, and Yahweh Hashem Yahushua gave them that power, so they're executing it, right? And he's the one who's going to come back and take it away from them. Verse 2 say, "And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage." Right? "Therefore thus saith Yahweh, Behold, against this family do I devise an evil." This family, right? So there's a family, it is Edomite family, right? A nation, Edomite nation. Especially these Amalekites, right? Which is the lead tribe of Esau Edom, right? So he said, Lord said, "Against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil." Alright, so the Lord is going to destroy them, right? The Lord is going to deal with them, right? And basically, you know, basically the curses, what going to happen here, and even by the elites doing this, the curses are falling on the rest of the nation of Edom as well, because they own other businesses. All right, it's when the small businesses collapse, you know. If you go to the book of let's go there to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 7. All right, and the Lord and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Right? So all the curses that we had is going to come onto them. Right? You know, and even more now so than ever you're seeing, you know, of course now we have parts of New York that's just completely locking down, you know. You know, the businesses crashed, you know. Things, all these storefronts boarded up, you know, because of the different disasters, the crisis, the coronavirus crisis that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is allowing to happen, right? And you know, the economy just grinding to a halt. This 2 Ezra 6:22. "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." Right? And this sowing is talking about the busy places, right? It's talking about the busy places. So that's what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is allowing to happen, right? And that's going on. That this will just escalate until the end, you know, until he comes back, you know, and he's gonna deal with that, you know, and he's gonna deal with this thing. He's gonna deal with the Esau Edom, right? Because if you would believe it, you know, it was Yahweh Shai, you know, in the regeneration as Isaac, you know, who gave Esau his blessing, right? So now the time of Esau is coming to an end, and the time of Jacob, you know, is gonna start. All right, and basically that's what's going on right now. All right, so if we go to 2 Ezra 6 and 7, a little higher up now, we'll see that, right? The 2 Ezra 6 and 7. "Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Right? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, and for Esau is the end of the world." Right? This is the end of the kingdom that's coming here. Yahweh Shai is going to end that kingdom. "And Jacob, which is Israel, is the beginning of it that followeth." Right? So, you know, as the apostles and the elders and the brothers say, we have next. We got next. Right? So keep your faith up, hold strong, and keep on learning this word. Right? Keep on becoming a living epistle, as the scripture says, you know. Just like they saw in the book of Eli, you know, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Mashiach is coming back to save us out of this place. Alright? I hope this lesson has been edifying. Kalalal Yahweh Hashem Yahushua B'Hashem Rokok Kadash. Alright? Wa Abad Babal. Shalom.